Oh, back I blew my sister Chinyere. Oh, quota I could get the Kubu where my sister will get to win him.
Let's talk about a young woman that was found dead in an abandoned swimming pool in Cosmilla Hotel in Awka, Anambra State. This unfortunate incident happened on the 15th of July 2023, somewhere around midnight of Saturday the 15th and the early hours of Sunday the 16th, where it was said that the victim, Chinyere Awuda, had attended a club where a birthday party of some sort was going on. It was said that during this party, the celebrant was being sprayed some money by his friend. And Chinyere, who was just a normal guest at the club, not attached to the celebrant or friends of the celebrant, began picking up money that was supposed to be for the celebrant. It was after she was confronted by friends of the said celebrant that she began to run. The story at the initial time when it was first reported claimed that the friends of the said celebrant, after seeing Chinyere pick up money, physically attacked her, accused her of stealing, and began beating her up to the point she passed out. And when they saw that she had passed out, they took her body to an abandoned swimming pool in the hotel premises where they dumped it. But ever since the story first broke out, different versions of what really happened to Chinyere Awuda had begun emerging. Initially, we were told it was a celebrant doing their birthday party, and Chinyere had only just picked up money that was sprayed in the club and that was most likely spread everywhere, even though it may have been believed that the money belonged to the celebrant. However, it turned out that it was not a birthday party per se, but the celebrant in question was a fashion designer launching a clothing brand and had his friends come to support him. And as usual, the celebrant, that is a fashion designer, was being sprayed some money, and in its sense, some of the money got around the floor, in which Chinyere and some other girls in the club picked up and put in their pockets. At first, this may sound odd. This may sound off. This may sound like, okay, was Chinyere stealing the money by picking it up from the floor? After all, the money was being sprayed all over the club. And now, I have been to a club before and I have seen such an incident where money is being sprayed. Although to no specific person, the money would fly pretty much everywhere, and whatever lands on you, some people can pick it up and keep it in their pockets. So it is not unusual what Chinyere did. Even a witness who eventually spoke to a press admitted that it was a normal thing that goes on in the club, that girls or boys come into the club to pick money that is being sprayed. The person even said that it has even gotten to the point that they have to put gate fee in the club because they know what these girls are coming to do, and they are going to make money out of picking money that is being sprayed by wealthy, rich folks who feel generous to throw money around.
The party was more like an unveiling of a clothes brand, a new clothing brand that this young guy has started. So he wanted to promote it. That's why he organized the party where all his friends can come in and see that, okay, this guy is starting a new clothing line, and they can wish him well and celebrate with him. In the midst of this celebration, his friends, his well-wishers were gifting him money by spraying him in the club, which is what normally goes on in the club, as everyone knows. This Chizzy happens to be one of the girls that usually goes around in different clubs and picks money. So many of them have even taken that as a usual routine, a job. Every weekend you see them in different clubs, especially when there is a big party that they hear of. They are always there in that club. So now, she happens to be one of these girls around that picks money. And that particular night, there were measures taken to reduce the amount of girl pickers that will be in the club. There was a measure taken that the club manager had to make sure that any girl that wanted to come into that club that night will pay 1,000 naira. Just so that some will be like, I cannot pay 1,000 naira, they will go home. And to an extent, it worked. But to an extent, some of them still paid and came inside.
So what Chinyere was doing may sound unusual to some people, but it's a common practice in the club. It's something the club owners know that people do. Even at the time, it is possible that Chinyere was not the only girl at the club, that there were other girls who may have done the same thing. So why was Chinyere the only one being attacked? Why was Chinyere the only one dragged and beaten and murdered? Why? Which will lead us to the second narrative of story that we began to hear later on. It was then revealed that Chinyere did not particularly only pick up money that was sprayed. She was being accused also of stealing a stack of money kept on the chair by one of the friends of the celebrant. Let me take that again. That is to say, one of the friends who is due to spray money had a stack of money that he planned on spraying in a bundle, a bunch of money kept by his side on his chair at the club. And just before he could go and spray the money to the celebrant, he could not find the money. And it is believed Chinyere was the nearest person close to this said young man, and she also was nowhere to be found. And that was when they believed that she had stolen a bunch of money from a stack of cash that was dropped on the chair that was supposed to be for the fashion designer. So if this story or if this narrative is true, then it makes sense as to why she was a target of such brutality, allegedly. Because if it is normal for someone to pick money up from the floor, why did it change suddenly when it came to the time of Chinyere? So it will make sense that she was being accused of something more than just picking up money that was being sprayed. And it does make sense that if she's been accused of stealing a bunch of money, then that would be a motive for these people to chase her down, beat her up, and eventually do what they did. Just to be clear, I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying her stealing a bunch of money is a motive that could be used. Okay, this is what triggered these people to chase her down and beat her up. Like I've said, if it's the normal thing to pick up money from the floor that is being sprayed, there is no reason for them to beat her up to the extent in which they killed her. But I can see why a group of guys would want to attack someone who steals a whole bunch of money. And that was what the second narrative, or one of the narrative, is being put out there, that Chinyere may have stolen a huge stack of money. Now, a CCTV footage was released, but it's not very clear. But according to what we could see, it's being said that in the CCTV footage, Chinyere was seen running out of the club, and the guys who chased her was also seen chasing after her. She had run out of the club, so she wasn't exactly being beaten inside the club. The beating may have started, but I would guess her running out could have been the time when she may have taken the money to when they discovered that she did take the money. Now, the entire CCTV footage was the exterior of the hotel and the club, which meant it was pretty much dark. So what could be seen clearly is Chinyere running out, and what could be seen next is the group of boys who may have chased her down to hurt her. But what happens after that, no one could see so much because the CCTV footage was pretty much very dark. This unfortunate incident has sparked a lot of outrage. The hotel currently, Cosmilla Hotel, has been sealed and shut down till further notice as the case is still being investigated. There are claims that she probably did not steal the money and that she may have been harassed, and she refuses advances and they chased her down and did what they did to her. There are also claims that the bouncers, the managers of the hotel, allowed it to happen. They did not interfere as they should have, because the people who were beating her up, or the people who have been accused of physically attacking Chinyere, were said to be friends of the said celebrant. So it had nothing to do with staff or security of the hotel establishment. These were just people using the club. These were people who are from other places who had come to use this club, and they were the ones doing this said violence against this young woman. Although there are theories going around, there are theories as to what may have happened to Chinyere and how she may have ended up in the pool. And these theories, we're going to look into them. The first one, which is the obvious one, is that she was being beaten and she was dragged out, and the beating continued. And after they were done beating her up, they threw her body into the pool. Now, the pool is an abandoned swimming pool that is located at the corner of the hotel that is visibly and obviously abandoned, in a fence-looking area where you could tell that that area has been filled up with bushes and is even filled up with a lot of plastic and a lot of trash. It looks like a burrow pit. It looks like a dustbin. It looks like a swimming pool of dustbin. It's not a pleasant looking place. It's not like an abandoned swimming pool that still have clear water. This looks like a gutter, and it is visibly separated from the rest of the building. So that is the theory. The boys caught her, beat her up, killed her, and threw her there. But personally, I feel like that theory has a lot of problems to it. Although I can see that these things could happen without the management of the hotel knowing. But if the management of the hotel is aware that this thing was happening, I don't see why they would condone the boys to dump her body in their hotel premises. Which is why I feel like if that was the case, I don't think the hotel, Cosmilla, were involved in it, because it would be stupid of them to do something like that deliberately, or to allow somebody get beaten and dumped in their hotel, given the fact that similar incident had happened in one of their branches in Lagos as far back as 2012. So back to the second theory. This is what I think possibly may have happened personally. Although a lot of people may not agree, it is likely possible that Chinyere, while running, fell into the pool. Given how dark the place is, given how poorly lit that area is, and given how fast she might have been running and how important it was for her to get away from these guys. If a lady is running away from a group of men, she will run as far as she could. And maybe running into that corner in the dark, hoping to hide from them. And when they came towards her, she ran into the pool and fell and probably drowned from there. That could also be a possibility. That could be a possibility. But then again, there is another proof. There is another reason why I think, in as much as she may have fallen there by accident, I still believe that if something is done well by the police, they could also suspect foul play. And this is my take. The only way I can believe that Chinyere was killed deliberately by those said people who chased after her is if, when her body was recovered from the pool and the stack of money is still found on her. That would be my only means of saying whether or not these people did anything to her. When her body was found and retrieved, was there any money found on her? If no single money was found on her, it means those guys eventually retrieved their money and either left her there to die or threw her there herself. So if no single money was found on her, then she was indeed murdered. And that is what I believe. However, if the stack of cash is still on her, if the money is still on her, then it is very possible that when she ran there, she fell and went down and she just most likely drowned. And even if that was the case and somehow the guys saw her drowning and still were able to retrieve their money, it's still liable. They are still supposed to take the blame, because if they saw her drowning and struggling for help and they refused to help her and instead went for the money alone, then they are liable to share some kind of responsibility in her death. Another thing again that we don't know is the state of her body. I don't know if an autopsy has been done to check for physical bruises, to see if she was punched, beaten, kicked, stabbed, or any other thing. If there were no blunt force or no physical injury on her body to indicate that these men punched and beat her up, then we're still likely left with the theory that she drowned by accident while running away. And like I've said, it has to be determined on whether or not the money that she's been accused of stealing was found on her. Because if the money is still found on her and she kept it somewhere in her body, she would be in the water with the money. But if the money is not there, that means these guys actually caught her, collected their money, beat her up, and eventually maybe killed her and threw her body there. And that would be the only way I see it making sense to me. Otherwise, what happened to her? And how did she end up in the pool? So as it stands now, the suspects who are believed to have had a hand in chasing her down for the money have been taken to custody. I think more of them are still being searched for, because this case only blew up when her body was found. And the said celebrant, Mr. Gabriel, has also been taken into custody by the police. So they will have to explain what happened to Chinyere, because at this point it's in their hands. Even though I feel like the celebrant may not know much, because I don't believe the celebrant was the one chasing after her. It could have been the friends whose money Chinyere may have stolen. So we will just hope that the celebrant, Mr. Gabriel, and his friends would be able to give an explanation as to what happened to Chinyere. But my thoughts and my theories have been already said. It's either she accidentally fell in there and drowned while running away from them, or she was beaten and thrown there by these people. And the way they can determine this is to be sure if the money is with her. If the money or the said money was not on her body when she was found in the water, then there is no doubt in my mind that these men actually killed her. But you guys, let me know what you think about this story. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think may have happened. Do you think Chinyere was beaten and killed and thrown there? Or do you think it might have been an accident in her bid to escape from them while running in the dark? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and share. Comment your thoughts like we've already talked about. And if you haven't subscribed, please do to click the subscribe button and turn on notification button so should there be any future update on this story, I'll be happy to update you guys. So thank you guys for watching.